Are the Baltimore Orioles good? Maybe. They're doing some stuff really well this year, and they're doing some stuff, well, at the level we expected the Orioles to play like, and somehow they are having a very hot start to the year. Just swept the Phillies. They also swept the Nationals. The team is hot. They're playing good baseball. They're winning games. It's 2020. Anything can happen. So in today's video, I'm going to go over the Baltimore Orioles 2020 season, talk about some of the players having success, whether or not this team is actually good and can make the playoffs, what their odds are looking like, what their percentages, are they going to be able to keep this up? Because right now, this Orioles team is in the playoffs. They're looking good, and I just can't even wrap my head around it, that the Orioles are playing good baseball, might be a better team than we thought, and might make the playoffs. So as always, if you guys do enjoy this video, you like the content that you're seeing, make sure to drop a like. That's the best way to show your support. Subscribe if you're new and you enjoy the content. If you love baseball, click that sub button, join the team. Get in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on the Orioles. Are they legit? Are they going to be able to make the playoffs this year? Are they real? And don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, second channel. All the links are in the description down below. So let's start off by talking about the Orioles' just record this year. The easiest numbers that we can look at. Through the first 17 games, 10-7 this year. I'm confident to say that there might not have been a stretch last year where they went 10-7. The Orioles have been that bad. Now, weirdly enough, the Orioles are atrocious at home and great on the road. And part of that has to deal with the fact that when you go into Camden Yards, you're going to give up a lot of runs, and the Orioles don't have great pitching. You would think that their hitting would help them out, but their pitching is just that bad where when they play at home, they're going to get smacked. It's just plain and simple. Now on the road, they get a little more lucky. They did end up actually pitching pretty decent baseball in Philadelphia these past few games, but for the most part, this pitching staff is not built for the full season. It's not a team, it's not a pitching staff that you go, man, I don't want to face these Orioles pitchers, but they have had some success this year, so let's take a deeper dive into their pitching first. John Means, who is expected to be their ace, the best pitcher in their staff thus far, has only made 2 starts, is on the 10-day IL, and Means has not been off to a good start. So like, you hear that and you think, oh, the Orioles have no chance of winning any games, but clearly that's not the case. What's weird is guys like Alex Cobb, Tommy Milone, Asher Wojciechowski. These guys are leading the Orioles rotation and having pretty good years. Alex Cobb has a 2.75 ERA through his first 4 starts, 19 2/3 innings pitched, a whip at 1.068, not striking out a lot of batters and walking a few guys, but he's given up almost no hits, 13 hits through 19 2/3 innings. Tommy Milone, who was their opening day starter, who hasn't really been a good starter ever in Major League Baseball, not at the caliber that we're seeing right now, and granted, it's a very, very small sample size. He's pitching well. Tommy Milone is striking out 10 batters per 9 innings. That's unheard of for Tommy Milone. Tommy Milone for his career has a 6.7 K per 9. Right now, he is striking out more batters than he ever has in his career, and that's why he's having success. Wasn't a big swing and miss guy before, was a pitch to contact kind of pitcher, and he's now turned it around where he's striking out guys. He doesn't walk anybody, doesn't even really give up the long ball. Bizarre stuff is happening in Baltimore. I mean, they have Tommy Eshelman, who's going out there every 5 days for them. He's taking Means' spot in the rotation, and Eshelman has a 3.65 ERA with a whip under 1. Now, granted, that's in 12 1/3 innings. Again, very, very short sample size, but it makes no sense. He has 3.6 K per 9, gives up 2.2 home runs per 9. Like, when they make contact, they're hitting it pretty far, and he's pitching well still. He's getting outs. And what makes even less sense, which we'll talk about, is that the Orioles defense is horrendous. They're one of the worst defensive teams in the league. So, like, putting the ball in play, in theory, shouldn't be something good for the Orioles. They should be looking for as many strikeouts as possible. Everything on the pitching side and fielding side is not making sense right now, but it's working. Even take a look at the bullpen. They got some no-name guys out there that are pitching very well right now. Travis Lakins has a 2.89 ERA with a whip hovering right around 1. Sean Armstrong has a 2.08 ERA with a whip under 1 at 0.808. These are guys who have pitched almost 9 innings each. Paul Fry has been really good for them, a 3.18 ERA, although his whip is at 1.76. Tanner Scott has a 1.8 ERA. Michael Givens hasn't given up a run this year in 6 innings. They're casually, like, pitching as well as they need to win games because this offense has really taken off, and that's where the real success has been for them this year. Because based right now on what we're seeing, obviously the pitching is not going to be able to keep this up for an entire year, and if they do, they're doing something that we haven't seen in baseball, which is just not have good pitchers who pitch well for an entire year. And that's no shot at any of the guys on the Orioles staff. It's just statistically, stuff-wise, their stuff is not very good. There's one guy who has a FIP under 3 on the Orioles starting rotation. That's Tommy Milone, and that's because he's striking guys out. Everybody else's FIP is about 5 or higher, but they have a pitcher with an ERA below 3 and multiple guys with ERAs below 4. It's very confusing. The Orioles are a weird team. So, like I said, at the plate, we're going to talk about hitters, fielding. Fielding, they're atrocious. They're one of the worst in the league, giving up a lot of errors. They just don't play particularly good defense. Now, they have some guys who play good defense at certain positions, and they're not particularly strong up the middle. Pedro Severino has a negative DRS. Jose Iglesias has a negative DRS. Austin Hayes and Santander are like their best fielders right now statistically, but for the most part, this team is an average to below average fielding squad, which makes no sense for the kind of pitchers that they have. But now, again, let's talk about hitting. That's really what I wanted to talk about. As a team, they have the 2nd highest batting average in Major League Baseball, 7th highest on-base percentage, lead Major League Baseball in slugging percentage, and are 2nd in OPS. They are one of the best offensive teams in this short season thus far, which is crazy because you look at some of the names in this lineup and it just doesn't add up. But they're playing playing well. You gotta give him credit. Pedro Severino, catcher, not much of a hitter, not much of an offensive guy before. He's got 4 homers, an OPS above 1,000. Playing terribly defensively behind the plate, but he's got an OPS above 1,000. Chris Davis is still Chris Davis. He's hitting 150 with a 434 OPS. I'm so sorry, Chris Davis. It's just killer. Hanser Alberto just keeps hitting a 351 batting average, OPS at 928. Jose Iglesias somehow finds hits, hitting 383 with an OPS at 953, with no homers, by the way, but 8 doubles. He just finds ways to get hits. Rio Ruiz has 5 homers, 11 RBIs, a 937 OPS. Dwight Smith Jr., 875 OPS. Austin Hayes, not really hitting, but he's playing good outfield, so, you know, that's where they're getting his value from. Anthony Santander has an OPS approaching 900. Renato Nunez, who casually dropped like 30 homers last year, is off to a crazy hot start. 5 homers, 6 doubles, OPS above 1,000. You even look at Chance Sisco, the backup catcher, he has an OPS above 1,000. They are getting an insane amount of offense, which is kind of counteracting their lack of pitching. And right now, because the pitchers are getting a little bit lucky, the pitching is going to eventually come back to earth, but the hitting right now is just on fire, and that's what's allowing them to win games. That's why they have 10 wins on the season. They're just straight up outscoring teams. They're not necessarily out pitching, they're outscoring. And like I said, the pitching is going to stop soon. The way that these guys pitch, the way that the team fields, the runs are going to come at some point. It's just a matter of when. Now, me as a Mets fan, I love that they just swept the Nationals and the Phillies. That's incredible for us, especially because we're not playing that well and we're competing for a playoff spot with these teams. So I'm hoping by the time that the Mets play the Orioles, they come back to earth, because right now the Orioles that are playing on the field in 2020 are winning games. To put into perspective how big of a deal it is that the Orioles have won 10 of their first 17 games, they won 54 games last year in a 162 game season. If the Orioles were to keep this 10-7 pace for a 162 game season, they would finish with 95 wins. That is 45 wins more than they had last year. That is nuts. They already have 18.5% of the wins that they got in 2019. And this team honestly didn't really even get better. In fact, might have got worse because Trey Mancini hasn't even played this year for them in 2020. That's the craziest part. Their actual best hitter has not stepped on the field and taken an at-bat. So are the Orioles actually good? Right now, maybe. Are they going to be good by the end of the year? I can't see a world where that happens. The pitching is not good enough. The fielding is horrendous. And the offense, I think, can definitely stick. It's just that the pitching is going to kill them at some point. There's no way that this team can continue to get lucky on the mound day in and day out when the numbers tell you otherwise, that they are just pitching into good luck right now. Bad fielding, bad pitchers, it makes for a bad combo. The hitting might stay, but it's going to cool off a little bit at some point. I mean, these guys have shown they are not 1,000 OPS type players. It's taking absolutely perfect hitting and absolutely perfect pitching, and the Orioles are still 10-7. So Orioles fans, enjoy while it lasts, because I can't see it lasting much longer. I think they come back down to earth at some point, but ride the wave as long as possible, because if the Orioles continue to stay hot and we're looking 30 games into the season, they have a legitimate chance to make the playoffs, especially with 8 teams in each league making it. The Orioles might make the playoffs in 2020. And that is a sentence I never expected to say, even in this crazy year that is 2020. So I'd love to know what you guys think about it down in the comment section below. Do you think the Orioles have a legitimate chance to make the playoffs in 2020? Are they actually a good team? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I want to have a conversation and talk a little bit. Remember, leave a like on the video, as well as subscribe to the channel if you're new and you enjoy the content. Drop me a follow on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, second channel. All the links are down below. The Orioles, man, the Orioles are really playing good baseball. Sorta, kinda. It's bizarre. 2020, man, what a year. That's gonna wrap up today's video. You guys know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video, as well as this is my most recent upload. So click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate you, and I'll see you all tomorrow for another video.